For this one, Kevin, this is kind of a lighthearted, fun one. I guess Kamala missed some promos that were supposed to be shot. So Mean Gene burns a little tape and let's Kamala have it. Let's take a look at this.
Righty. I wonder if you could get him to put this. I know. That means I missed interviews in St. Louis. Right. Isn't that what that means, Friday? That he missed interviews in St. Louis? When he should have been there, it was on the booking sheet. He missed interviews. Come here. No, I'm not kidding. Come here, Friday. Come here. Come on in here. Friday, you're kayfabe. Come here. Right, sure. You speak of the language. Kamala, what's this shit about you missing interviews in St. Louis? I want an honest answer here. I'm going to confront you. I'm just like, what's his name, Walter Cronkite.
I don't speak English, and I can't read English, so I missed the interview.
Yeah, well, I thought we had it, though. It was written up in Swahili by James Barnett. I thought you would have got the goddamn message. This is ridiculous. When you're supposed to be in St. Louis for interviews, what the hell are you doing sitting on your ass in some goddamn hotel over in Ipswich, Illinois?
I do a little fucky.
Oh, okay. That's very good. That's real good. Okay, good. Yes, we're going to be right back after this. Thank you, Kamala, and good Friday.
I love Gene.
Oh God, he's so classic.
Was he as fucking chill as I would imagine he was?
He was a 5'8" Sean Connery. He was, I mean, God, he was so great. And the driest humor, I mean, just so, I loved him, man. I mean, I spent as much, anytime he'd always say, hey, Nash, you want to come down after that and we'll get a pop? I'd be like, fuck yeah. I'd belly up to the bar with him all the time. Because, I mean, it was just...
I think you told me a story. It might even be online somewhere. I think it was on camera that you guys had you had flights to Florida and you had some time.
No, we were leaving the it was the Hall of Fame, and so it was 222 across and First, and we're leaving San Francisco at about God, I don't know. I went in the Hall of Fame, so it's 2015, and Gene's next to me, and Zbyszko had gotten stoned.
No.
Before yeah, Larry had gotten stoned before he went out and did the Hall of Fame, and of course, like you think in your mind, I'll get stoned and I'll be really entertaining, and. Larry got on the Parliament Big Ben in European Vacation.
He couldn't get off.
And so he come up and he walks by and he's on Gene's side. I'm C, he's D, and then Larry's on the other side of Gene in the aisle. And Larry says, "How?" And Gene says, "It was the absolute drizzling shit's the worst thing I've ever seen in my life, Larry." Yeah, because nobody would ever say that. Nobody would ever say that, you know. And Larry just looked at him like was waiting for Gene, and Gene just turned back to me and was talking, and we already had drinks. We had drinks in front of us. Gene and I drank the whole way to Atlanta. And I think he would fly to West Palm, and I would fly to Daytona. And he had to make a phone call, but he was just like, "Big man, excuse me, I'm going to make a phone call." And he went out and made a phone call, and we walked down to the I still call them crown rooms, even though they're sky lounges now.
Mm-hmm.
But back in the day, they were always the crown rooms. And I mean, we walked in there, we drank until it was like last call for our flights, and we were like a gate apart. And we walked right, And I know he got on that plane and got a drink the minute, because I know I did. And I got into Daytona Beach. It was one of those things where I walked out. I walked down the ramp. I didn't walk down the ramp, but I took the escalator down to baggage, and you're standing there, and now the whole that's when it hits you, like, holy fuck, like. So that was one of those ones where you pull up and you don't have a garage door opener, so you're banging on the hurricane shutter, and your wife's like, "What the fuck are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm fucking hammered. I had to take a cab home." Like, that's when you know you're finally an adult, is when you don't get behind the wheel. If you're, it's like, no.
Well, I picture Gene a Scotch drinker. Is he a Scotch?
He
guy?
was at that point. Gene was switched to vodka because he was waiting on a liver transplant or a kidney transplant or something. It was, just unbelievable. Yeah.
Don't use Kliq this for medical advice, everybody out there. Just a disclaimer.
But he was.
Kevin, I'm going to be switching to vodka while I wait on this kidney. Just made the call real quick to see if any came in. If there were any motorcycle fatalities overnight, I've got some time.
I remember one time he was we did those face-to-faces, and it was Sean Waltman was wrestling somebody, and the other guy took up way too much time, and Gene said, "Well, 1, 2, 3, kid, you're a breath of fresh air. We're out of time." That was the ongoing thing where Sean was a breath of fresh air. And of course, the 1, 2, 3, kids, a breath of fresh air, and we're out of time. And like he left shortly. Like, I don't know if I was there 6 months before he went to WCW, and they put Stan Lane in that spot. They put a couple of different people. They brought in the guy that did that followed Richard Dawson, that committed suicide.
Oh, Ray Combs?
They brought Ray Combs in to do face-to-face.
Oh.
I think maybe Jock Rougeau did a couple. Like, nobody could. It just, with Gene, it was
Gene was just
seamless.
Yeah. You know who could have? I would have put Fink in that spot. I think he probably could have pulled.
Fink would have been too, because it was too conversational, and Fink was too. It was so funny because you're basically like we are, is how it looked, the two shot.
Yeah.
With different backgrounds, and so it looked like you were somewhere else, and of course Gene was at the control center, but you were basically with a fucking piping and a cloth between you, and anytime like somebody would just lambaste you, you'd go, "Fuck you." Like there's no way. It's like, no, you ain't, like, no, like the guy would bury you. Perfect would always do that. Kurt would be like, he'd bury Kurt, and Kurt would go, "Suck my dick. Use that." And they'd be like, "Okay."
You have a funny one. It's not an outtake. They used it. I forget the reference you made, but it was you and Brett doing one together, and you cracked him up with some because Brett's always like this.
Yeah.
But you cracked him up with something, and he broke, and he laughed. I'm gonna find it for next week.
That was for Survivor Series.